Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from Skiessentials.com. This video is going to be a little bit different than what we normally do here. This is something that has become a big part of my skiing routine, or at least my maintenance routine for my own personal skis. There are tons of videos out there about how to tune your own skis, mostly focusing on sharpening the edges, waxing, stuff like that. This is something that I don't see talked about nearly as much, and that is, what do you do with the edges of a park ski, specifically a park ski that is sliding a lot of rails. So if you watch a lot of our videos, you probably know that I have a park skiing background and I still really love it. It's truthfully one of my favorite things to do when I'm on the mountain, and a big part of that for me is sliding rails. I know sliding rails to a lot of people is just like so far from what they like to do when they go skiing. So if that's you, this video is probably not for you. Some of the information that I'm going to talk about today could be used for like removing burrs from hitting rocks or stuff like that, but the difference between that and a park ski sliding rails to me is that you're typically trying to get the ski back to sharp, if you're removing a burr from hitting a rock or something like that. Where in this case, as you'll see, the goal is not really to make them sharp at all. So we'll go through the process, but really what happens when you slide rails is you get a ton of burrs underfoot. You get like little dents in your edges, and what happens is it creates like a pretty bumpy edge. Mine right now feel basically like a serrated knife blade. If you like run your finger along it, it'll cut you if you push down even in the slightest, and that's really not what you want. When you have an edge like that and you have burrs like that on your edges, they can be very grabby in a number of different situations. They're grabby and catchy on rails. They're also grabby and catchy just skiing along if that part of the ski comes in contact with the snow, and it just doesn't feel great. And the other big benefit of doing this is I find that it lets you kind of think about tuning your skis in two different ways. You're tuning your tips and tails separate from tuning underfoot, and we can talk about that more as we go through. But those are kind of the two big reasons why you want to keep a clean, smooth edge underfoot so your skiing feels better, and then you also want to be able to kind of keep the rest of the ski feeling more normal. And kind of the third benefit is, in my experience, I've been skiing park for over 20 years and sliding rails for over 20 years, is if you go through this process somewhat regularly, it is going to lengthen the lifespan of your skis. I find that it drastically reduces the amount of edge cracks that you get. And my assumption, my hypothesis is because there's not that burr to create more of like a acute pressure point and then crack that spot. So that's the why, I suppose. And now we'll get into the how. So for me, maintaining park ski edges underfoot, you really need two different tools. And I've had these conversations informally with plenty of people over the years, whether park skiers or not. And one of these tools often kind of it confuses people, or they'll tell me that I'm wrong. And if that's how you feel, I would just hold off that opinion until you watch the whole thing. So first thing, and this is the one that people sometimes say is incorrect or not what it's for, and I would agree, this is not what it's designed for, but it works really well, is a diamond stone. Specifically, I would go from a medium to a coarse grit diamond stone. A really fine diamond stone is more used for polishing, and that's not really what we're trying to do here at all. The other tool that you need is a gummy stone, and if you prefer, you can do this whole thing with the gummy stone. For me, I just find the diamond stone, it really saves me a little bit of time more than anything, and I've become very comfortable with it. And then a couple other things you should have is two rubber bands. One would be fine too. You can do it without kind of strapping up the brakes, but it's kind of annoying. Like I do it every once in a while. Probably do it more for the athletes, the kids I coach, because I'm doing it on the fly and I don't have a rubber band. So you can do it, but this will make your life a lot easier. You'll be happier. And then just some sort of rag. This is a disposable shop rag. If I'm doing this at home, I'll just use like a washable rag that's in my garage. And that's it. So here's the process. We'll do it for both skis. This is the Faction Studio 2. I've been skiing it a ton this season and I've really had a great time with it. I've been wanting to get the review out kind of as soon as we could and just been held up for a few different reasons, but review is coming soon and I want to ski some park on it tomorrow, but the edges are in rough shape right now, so figured we would take the opportunity to clean them up. So first thing you want to do is just rubber band the break up like that so it's out of the way. And then flip over the ski. You can do it just holding the ski too. I brought the GoPro so you guys can see more in depth what I'm doing. Like there's no reason why you can't just hold it and do it like that. So if you don't have a bench, it's not a concern whatsoever. We just happen to have a bench here, so we're going to use it. I suppose I skipped this on the gummy stone. Doesn't really matter like what the density is. Some gummy stones are a little softer, this one's a little firmer. I guess I prefer the softer ones. I don't really know why. I don't think it actually makes that big of a difference, but yeah, if you're wondering, my preference is a slightly softer gummy stone. So first thing, you take the diamond stone, and truly we are only focused right underfoot. So like toe piece to binding, and we're not gonna touch anything else. You know, sometimes you'll hit a rail like back here, and I do have some burrs, so I might go slightly beyond that, but we are not even gonna touch our tips and tails. So diamond stone first, very lightly. I emphasize very lightly. The thing that people get hung up or the criticisms that I've heard of the way that I do this is this can create a sharp angle on your ski, and especially if you're putting down a lot of pressure. You know, diamond stones, the purpose of them is to sharpen a ski, not really to detune a ski. So we're kind of just using this in a unique way. What I like to do is start at about a 45-degree angle, and then you're just going extremely lightly just up and down the ski. And if anything, if you can like adjust that angle as you go, you know, maybe go to 30 degrees and then maybe go to 60 degrees, and you're basically just trying to remove the big burrs. You can do this whole process with a gummy stone, but it ends up taking a lot longer, and you'll kind of like fly through your gummy stones a little bit quicker. Gummy stones last a good amount of time, but still, I like this first step. So really lightly, just kind of taking some of the initial burrs off. It's still pretty rough to touch, but it's definitely better just doing this. And then do it to the other edge. Same kind of thing. You're literally like changing your angle the whole time you're doing this. And yeah, if you're watching this and you're like, that's absurd because you're making your skis not sharp, correct. I agree. That is the goal here. So super light with the gummy stone. I strongly advise against what I'm doing right now, touching it with your bare hand. That's what the rag is for. So after diamond stone, just kind of wipe the rag over it really quickly. You're just removing, there you go. You can see a little bit of material coming off the ski there. Metal splinters are not fun. Getting that stuff in your skin is not fun. And then next you want to take your gummy stone, and this, you know, kind of the opposite of the diamond stone, you can use quite a lot of pressure. So yeah, you push down pretty hard. You don't really have to worry about varying your angle because the gummy stone is designed to kind of wrap around the edge, so to speak. And you can feel it, you know, like it starts really kind of rough and you can feel the resistance. And then after a few passes like that, that is quite smooth, and I'm very happy with it. And then same thing on the other ski here, or the other edge rather. Still a little bit of resistance up here. And that's pretty darn good. I feel good about that. It could be better. We could spend a little bit more time, but for the sake of making a video that's not super, super long, I feel good about that, you know, and then kind of just take a look at it, see if you missed anything. I feel like I missed a couple burrs just right there, which is slightly outside of the zone that I'm kind of focusing on here, but not bad. I actually think those are from hitting a rock, not from sliding a rail, which would make sense. And that's it. That's pretty good. I feel good about that. Essentially what we're trying to create here is a nice rounded edge underfoot. This one could be a little better. Yeah, that feels good. Done. So now this ski, when I go to slide rails on it tomorrow, it's going to feel really, really smooth. And really, anywhere I take it tomorrow, it's going to feel really, really smooth. It's not fully perfect. I basically waited too long to do this for the first time to these skis. My intention was to kind of wait so I could do this video. My advice would be to do this more often than you might think. You know, if you're sliding rails a lot, if you're sliding like a ton of rails every week, do it once a week. You're not removing a ton of material, so you're not going to shorten the lifespan of your skis whatsoever. And then really the other benefit that I kind of talked about briefly, yeah, I got like nice, smooth, round-ish edges underfoot now. The other benefit is now this ski can go through a tuning machine perfectly fine. Not that it couldn't before, but you'd be removing some of those burrs beforehand anyways. And the theory here is if I were to whether hand tune this ski myself or bring it to the shop, I'm basically eliminating this section underfoot. So bring it to a shop and hand them the ski and say, you know, whatever, if you have like base edge angles that you like, tell them how you want the ski sharpened, and specifically tell the shop that you do not want the underfoot section sharpened, because as you slide rails, you're removing quite a bit of material. You know, you're denting that edge, you're like rounding it out. And if you were to take this to a shop and like maybe you didn't say anything and just told them to sharpen it, or if you told them that you wanted the whole ski sharpened, if they tried to get this underfoot section sharp, they would have to do like, who knows, like 20 passes over a belt to remove enough material to get it down to a point where you could sharpen that. And that will drastically decrease the lifespan of your skis. So it's kind of like, it's a balance here, you know, take some material away underfoot, allow yourself to sharpen your tips and tails while leaving this kind of more rounded and smoother. So that's the process. We could stop the video right here, but we'll do my other ski quickly. I also bent these brakes the other day, so while we're at it, why don't we bend our brakes back to a better position. So same thing, rubber band the brake up out of the way, and then we start with, again, recommendation is don't use your bare hand. I do as I say, not as I do. Same thing, start with the gummy or the diamond stone really, really lightly, just running it up and down the ski. This one doesn't feel quite as bad actually, which is great. And then we'll do the other edge. Yeah, there's really not many big burrs to remove here with the diamond stone. My other ski had more, so this step was more beneficial for that ski. Honestly, for an edge like this, that's not too bad. That's where I would potentially just skip the diamond stone and then go to your gummy stone. It's already really nice and smooth. Yeah, solid. And then same thing on this edge. And yeah, I feel really good about that. Ready to slide some rails tomorrow. So that's it. That is my method. You I think these tools are great to have. I think if you're gonna like really learn how to use a diamond stone properly, you should take some time to make sure that you're using it properly if you're gonna use it for sharpening. Gummy stones, on the other hand, like I feel like every skier in the world should have a gummy stone. I have like a tiny bit of surface rust forming up here in my tip. I saw a little bit on the tail too, and just like a really quick kind of rub along the edge. You're not really detuning much if you're just soft and light with what you're doing. So gummy stone is awesome, and that's it. That is my process. I truly think that this keeps your skis performing better, and it does increase the lifespan of a park ski. So that's it. I know that was weird for some people. If you don't ski in the park, if you don't slide rails, you probably think I'm crazy. Maybe you have your other your own methods. If you do, I would love to hear about them. So leave a comment. Let me know how you take care of your skis that slide a lot of rails. And yeah, let us know if you have any questions.